So during last year, 2024, in the start of that year in January, I put up so many different goals I had in my life. I put up, now when I look back in retrospect, too many of course, and I had them on my whiteboard, and I in the beginning was tracking them so seriously, and I felt like, wow, man, I'm so cool, I'm such a great guy, I'm such a stud, you know. I was almost like arrogant because I didn't know that a lot of people around my circle didn't have these kind of goals. And moving the tape forward to now, in January 2025, a year later, I realized that I dropped basically everything of that thing I put up 1 year ago. And you know why? Because I realized that most of the things that I put up there wasn't from myself. And I'm gonna tell you why, because during this year now, I've been starting to put more attention into the meaning behind words. I've been putting attention into what certain words really, the true meaning behind them are, what they really understand. You can say etymology, that's a good word of, like the history of the word, where it comes from. And if you look into the English language, it's derived from many different languages. It's derived from Latin, Hebrew, Egyptian, and French, I think it is. And they usually call it a master language. It's a very beautiful language. And a lot of the words, they are pronounced with something called phonetics, which means that you're basically saying what they mean when you say it, because sound is vibration. So we can take the word, let's say issue, is you. The word issue means it's you. Everything that you experience and you have a problem with it, it's always going to be you. And I don't want to talk about that word now specifically. It's another word that I've been focusing and really had this kind of moment, but I get it. And that's personality. And a lot of people like to talk about this personal development. We need to develop ourselves, we need to become better. But when we really look into that meaning behind that word, it means that we're developing a character, because the word persona is derived from Latin, which means mask. And when we're talking about developing something that we have a mask on, it means that we're actually developing something that we are not. And in the ancient times, they mentioned many times that, probably maybe the most famous quote is that, know thyself. What they really mean behind that is that behind the personality traits that we have, behind this mask that most people actually are carrying around on a daily basis, there's someone else behind there. And that's the real you. So the most important thing that we can do in our lives is to actually get rid of this mask and to get in tune with who we really are. So it's almost like we are, let's say, Christian Bale, who played Bruce Wayne in Batman. It's almost like he's obsessed with this character. He is obsessed with Bruce Wayne, that he believes so much in this illusion that he believes that he is that person, that he is the character. So every waking hour, every day, every week, he puts attention and energy to actually develop this character, only to find out that that's not who he is. So that's kind of like, to segue back to where I started off the video with my goals there, that's kind of how I felt when during this year now, I had so many moments that I just felt like it wasn't even me who put up those goals, because the person who put up them, first of all, was a person. And now I realized later that I'm not a person. I'm the awareness, observing, watching my reality. And my awareness has created this body so that it can experience life. And when I view it in that sense instead, I just lost all interest whatsoever in goals, basically. I'm not saying that goals are useless. That's not the point. That's not what I wanted to say. Because I realized that there were so many new things that I started to do that I didn't put up. But it felt very right, it felt very real, it felt authentic, and it felt like that's me. That's what I should do. Not those things that I put up in the start of that year. So I'm so glad that I really, during this year, actually discovered that, you can say, I find a way back home. And I really mean it. And it's something that I'm so grateful for. And I think that I really wish everyone gets to experience this, because that's the whole purpose here. That's what we are meant to do here. To start off this journey, this, you could say, hero's journey, the journey of getting back home to ourselves. If you're like me, maybe at this start of this year, exactly like I was 1 year ago, and you have put up so many goals, and you think that, because here's the thing, like, the main reason why we do them is because we think we're gonna feel so much better once we achieve them and once we reach them, you know. But at the end of the day, we don't. And because once you realize that your value is as good as it can be right now. I mean, whoever you are listening to this video now, you have to understand that your value, you're perfect right now, but you haven't realized it yet. You think you need to accomplish so many things, and that's what's gonna bring you the value. I have so many people in my circle. I have actually a few that I have on my mind right now, that they are so caught up in this idea, this illusion, that they think so deeply that they are this person, and they think that their life is going to be so much better once they reached all these crazy goals that they have. And like I said, I'm not saying it's wrong to achieve things. That's not at all what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about when we get to know when we get to know ourselves, who we really are. We are gonna conquer so many things without we just even realizing it, because we are doing things in an authentic way that feels very right for us. It feels right in the heart. It just feels so incredible right when we do things, because it's our intuition, it guides us. But when we are in tune with a persona, we are not guided by our heart. We are guided by the ego and by things, most of the times, probably old programming and a lot of expectations that we think that we have from people around us and society. Because in society it's very common that in order to be a successful person, you need to acquire things and accumulate things, and you have to have status and fame and this and that. And then you just realize that none of those people have found their way back home. They're lost. And they're masking this kind of, this state of being confused and lost with just being obsessed with things to do and ideas they have that they are going to be so much better if they achieve them. So to summarize the video, that whoever you are now, and you are like I was, think about it really. Are those goals that you're putting up really you? Because I think that most people, it's not them. And also, like, when we have too much goals, we're just so distracted by so many things that we're missing out on our person's life. Because when we actually have a goal, it means that we are taking away this moment that actually happens now. We're not experiencing anything now because we are so obsessed with what's going to happen in the moment that we perceive to be the future. But that moment's going to be the present moment as well. Because that moment we think is the future is an illusion. And once we get to understand these things, and we realize that everything is perfect as it is right now, I mean, we're changing everything basically. I'm so glad just to the place I've come now, and I'm very excited to what's coming after this. So I'm gonna make a longer video actually and go through 10 things 10 insights and 10 lessons I've learned this year that has been life-changing. So I'm gonna make a longer video soon, and so make sure you watch that one. And until that, I want to wish you a fantastic start of the new year and week, and we talk soon. Take care now.